Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Blue Archive reaction set of songs. Today we have 167 and 174, the Trip Trap Train event background musics, I guess. That just sounds interesting, and the comment said that it was going to be kind of bass heavy, so I'm assuming trap might be literal with the genre, but I suppose we're about to find out, aren't we? So let's go. All right, yeah, definitely starting off bass heavy. Didn't even have to wait for it. Time to see what Mitsukiyo's got in store for me today. Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay. I'm trying to figure out what this sounds. This is like Mario Sunshine core. A little bit Mario 64, you know? Dry desert. Does have a little bit of that trap flair in there. Not too much of it. I don't know if I would define this as trap, but that was just an assumption from the name of the event, so. There's something weirdly beachy about this. I think that's why I'm getting Mario's Sunshine energy off it. But I'm also definitely getting just more of like the desert vibe as well. I think it's because the synth might sound a little bit like steel drums. Had a bit of that trap downfall with like the tom snare like diddling around there. Woo! Ended with a strong arpeggio there too. I'm not entirely positive here, so like take this with a grain of salt. I think that song was written in Phyrigian mode. For those who don't know what that is, it's a specific type of mode where basically you play all the notes on, I think, a standard C scale, but starting on E. I'm pulling that out of my ass, so if I am a little incorrect, sorry there. It's easy to look up the Phrygian scale if you want to learn more about it, but it's that sound that sounds very like stereotypically Egyptian, Middle Eastern. It was used for a lot of songs, like I think Missy Elliott's Get Your Freak On, for example, was one of those, and it's like, that's the type of song where it's just like, oh, that's a little different. Oh, that feels a little bit more spicy. It's that sort of change that makes things wake up a little bit. The reason I'm not positive is because there are so many different modes that you can write a song in that follows different structures to how you lay out the notes in the song itself. And I'm not entirely sure if it's Phrygian mode or if it's another mode. There's like seriously 15 or something like modes, and I don't know all of them by heart. Just based off of what I was hearing there, it feels like Phrygian fits it the most, but I don't have all of them memorized. But either way, that was a nice, unique sound to get, especially out of the songs I've heard from Blue Archive so far. It's like that song specifically was just a little bit different, and I think that's why. I think it was using a non-common mode type to make things a little bit more fresh, kind of give it that, you know, beachy desert feel just a little bit more. But there are so many ways to arrange notes into a song that it would be absolutely beside me and my skill level in order to specify exactly what is and isn't when it comes to modes like that. I don't know theory that well. I just get the basics. But I also think that I am kind of in the ballpark with thinking about it as like literal with the trap mention in the title of the event. I feel like Mitsukiyo, at least in this song, I'm not sure about the second one because that'll be from Nor, and I don't know how that's going to translate between the composers here, but I believe that Mitsukiyo decided to take that a little literally and play around a little bit with some of those trap elements, some of the samples that are pretty common. Like I mentioned, that like snare tom fall, that's like it follows a melodic scale down. And it's just like, yeah, that's something you hear a lot in standard trap music, and I think that that's something that Mitsukiyo threw in here on purpose in order to literally make that trap part of the title more obvious in the music. But now I'm even more interested in hearing what Nor is going to do with this concept, if it's going to be a literal thing with the trap, or if it's just going to be a more standard run-of-the-mill song from Blue Archive that I've come to know and love. But I like not knowing, especially after Mitsukiyo throws you a song like that. You're like, oh, wait, there might be something in this event that's a little bit different, and they might be paying attention to that. So let's find out, shall we? All right, this one feels more like 90s, like house dance. All right, a little bit of vocal chop sampling. So far, this is a lot more standardized. Going right in for the build-up, as per usual. Going kind of for more of a bass drop thing there, a double build. Ooh, ooh yeah, I was right about the bass drop thing. Yep. This is like trance dance Eurobeat. Not Eurobeat the genre. The European dance music from the 90s and early 2000s. Yeah, this is definitely a completely different sound from the first one. I haven't noticed anything I would call a trap sample in this one so far. At least not a common one. I do just kind of like that cut-off bell sample. That's fun. That bass went out like a fart at the end, didn't it? I don't know how I've made it this far and not made a fart joke in I think any of my videos now, but there's always room for a first, you know, there's always going to be a first time for everything. So here we are. But yeah, that song was a lot more of like what I anticipated out of the sound and what I've been becoming familiar with through Blue Archive songs. It was a lot more of that like trance dance hop kind of sound. It was definitely like Northern Central Europe club, you know, it was very late 90s, early 2000s coded. I loved that. That's one of my favorite genre types to listen to while I'm like working at my part-time job. It's just something that I can pop in my ears and just go to town doing my work, not worrying about anything around me, and it's just, you kind of lose yourself in it. I'm sure that's the neurodivergence talking, because I know not everybody likes that genre type or that sound in general, but it's one of my favorites. It makes all the voices stop for a few minutes. But as far as just this energy, this straightforward, non-stop, let's go, I loved the double build-up. I wasn't anticipating the double build-up, but the second it went up and then it went down and it cut out some of those frequencies with the pass filter and it just built right back up, and then it went in, and that, like I mentioned, the cutoff bell sample that they were using in this, that was really fun. It's an uncommon sample and it works really well in all of this mix of sound. It just felt like an extra sting. That's all it was. That's all it needed to be. And I like that it didn't consistently like ring out into the next one. He like notably cut it off before the sample was done playing through and did like a hard cut, so it was never fully fading out and resolving into itself. It wasn't overlapping with the next time it was used in the song, and that's kind of genius in its own right, not allowing all of those frequencies to get too muddy and allowing the extra room by simply cutting off a little early to let it happen again. I think that's really intelligent. But overall, a completely unique approach to the one that Mitsukiyo did. I think that Mitsukiyo took the trap name a little bit more literal and was maybe paying attention to that a little little bit more, and it had a completely different mode, as I talked about. So like that's a unique way in its own right. And then Nor kind of handling the more traditional energetic sound that I've come to know, but not doing it in the same genre pocket that I'm used to hearing, which is more of that bubble pop stuff that I hear all the time through this music. So that is a cool thing to hear, an event with two very unique background songs for what I assume would be very similarly themed modes of the game that you'd be playing. So I mean, I could be wrong there. I don't play the game. I don't know what the differences are there, but I would assume they'd be kind of in the same ballpark. So having something so unique between the two is actually really cool to hear. I think that's always neat, seeing the difference between two musicians being handed basically the same packet of information and then handing back something completely unique unto themselves. That's always really fun to me. Just musician to musician, I find that insane. But I think that's about all I got to say here. So thank you all so very much for watching. If you have any other songs from Blue Archive or anything else that you want me to get to, by all means, leave them down in the comments below and I will do my best. And otherwise, if you like this video and you want to see more and follow me and support me, you know how to do all that. And I will see you in the next video. Goodbye!